Howdy folks, as promised I was going to bring you guys along on the journey of processing hemp here on the homestead. So if you guys are interested in processing hemp on a small scale with very minimal tools as always, stay tuned and follow along because I'm going to show you some of the processing that I've done so far on the hemp that I've gotten. I have some in different stages of the process, so I thought it'd be a great day to take you guys along and show you a little bit of the beginning processes in getting the hemp stalks into fiber. So this is some hemp stalk that has just been bundled up and allowed to dry. So that's really the first process of the whole thing. You want to gather your stalks and put them up to where the air can get to them and dry them out really good. And what you're looking for as a way to find out if your stalks are dry enough to begin the next process is just kind of take some of the branches and take your finger and bend them and see if it makes a pop or a snap like that. You heard that? Let's try to do it again. You hear that? That's what you're looking for. So when you hear that, that's a good sign that it's ready. You can also take some of these larger ones, and you see that one didn't really snap. So the larger ones here might need a bit more time. So what I'm going to do is, since I've already started processing some, I'm going to allow these to dry probably a week or so longer, just to give me some more time to get through some of the other stuff. But I just wanted to show you guys what the stalks look like in the get-go before anything's done to them. You guys can see they have kind of a light greenish color to them still. And then they have the woody core in the center, and some of them, you'll kind of notice some of them ones that are dried out really well, you'll see that they're actually hollow on the inside, and then you have a little bit of woody core next to that, and then your fiber is the actual outer sheathing on your stalks. So we're not processing this stuff for fiber, it's the outer skin of the stalk that we're looking for. Alrighty, so this pile here is a pile of the hemp stalks that have been retted. Now these were retted by using the water retting method. So these were packed tightly in this barrel. The barrel was filled up with water and they were allowed to ret in the water for approximately 2 weeks. And what that does is, you guys can see now they don't look green anymore. They have this kind of brown color to them. It looks like mold, but it's not really mold because I ended up using just a little bit of bleach in the water, so that way it would kill off any of the mold, because a lot of the black mold will actually eat the fibers. But as you guys can see now that it's properly retted, you can just pull that fiber right off of it and it comes off very clean. A good way to know if it's retted or not is just to kind of do like a test like I did there to see if it was properly done. I can see that there's probably one stalk here in the middle where you can see it's still very green. That's probably not retted long enough. I will go ahead and give it a try to see if the fiber comes off, but more than likely that will have to stay in the water a bit longer. So that's one process of retting. Now I'm going to take you over here and show you another way to ret your hemp stalks. Alrighty, another way that you can ret your hemp stalks is just to lay them out on the grass and allow them to decompose that way. But I found with doing that, you're going to want to make sure that no mold has already started on the stalks, because if you allow it to be out here in the air and whatnot, the mold will continue to grow and it will actually eat away your fiber. Your better option is to water ret it and just put a little bit of bleach in there to kind of kill that, because you do want it to rot, but you don't want it to rot too much to where it eats the fibers away. But as you guys can see, this stuff is definitely retted long enough. You can see actually some of the fiber is starting to come off of it already, and it's kind of like a bow would be. But you guys can see that fiber Let me hold it in between my legs. Sorry, trying to do this one-handed, but you can see that that fiber is just coming right off of there, and then you're just left with this wooden core down below. Now this wooden core you can take and you can burn in your wood stove for heat, or you can make it into biochar. So I'll walk you guys over here. This pile here, you guys can see it's still a little bit green, so this stuff has to be retted a little bit longer, so I will check on that later. But this is what I call the naked stalk pile here, and the one over there you guys can see that's really white, and the reason being is because all that's left behind is this nice thick woody stalk, which, like I said, you can turn into biochar, or you can just throw it right into the wood stove and get your heat that way. Alrighty folks, so here we are. This is the last step that I've gotten to so far. So you guys are now up to speed where I'm at. And basically what's going on here is I have an old Windows screen and I'm drying out the fiber. So after I removed all the fiber from the stalk, I packed them into this 5-gallon bucket here, filled the bucket up with water, put just a cap full of bleach in there, and allowed it to soak overnight. And the reason why I did that was not to try to bleach the color of the fibers or anything. It was mainly to stop the rotting process. So basically when you're retting your stalks, you're in essence allowing them to rot to a certain point, and then you want it to stop, and so that way you can go ahead and dry out your fibers and begin the further processing of them. So as you guys can see, this fiber here isn't completely dry yet. It's still a little bit damp. And so that's why I have it on the screen out here next to the wood stove, is just to dry it out a bit. But I wanted to show you this large stalk here, and I think what I want to do is find what it looked like before. So right here you guys can see there's a nice thick heavy duty stalk. This came off of a really large hemp stalk. It was probably about the size of my forearm around. But I was told that when you're processing hemp fibers, that the medical marijuana plants don't really have the fibers that you're looking for. Well, I have found the exact opposite when dealing with this, because all this fiber was given to me from medical marijuana growers. So this is the before, and this is after you've let it dry it out and started pulling apart and really seeing what you have for fibers. Do you guys see that? That's beautiful to me. Look at all of those tightly woven kind of fibers there, and all I've done really is just pulled these apart going kind of sideways to expose the fibers in there, and I'm just truly blown away with how fine those fibers are, and how they're, you know, closely woven like that and everything. So I'm wicked excited to get this stuff processed down even further, because basically I would like to turn this stuff into material that looks similar to these fluffy soft little clouds. This stuff here is the alpaca that we bought from our friends Doug and Stacy, and all I've done with that is washed the fibers and carded them out by hand and created little roll logs. So you'll see little brown paper bags throughout here. That is just where I'm storing it for right now. Also, we were given a bag of wool from a friend of ours, so I've been carding that and processing it as well, and that's basically what I'm going to be doing with this. So I'm hoping to be able to get this hemp into a fine fiber that can be made into linen and paper. I do know that you can use this and you make cordage and rope and stuff like that, and there's really not much more work to be done in processing this to get it to be able to be made into rope or cordage. But I want to go an extra step further and see if this can be made into a fine fiber that people would actually want to wear for clothing, so it won't be as rough as, say, wearing a burlap sack. But that's basically where I'm at now, guys. I still have some more material that needs to be retted, and I have some more material the fiber needs to be removed. So it might be a few more days before I get to processing this stuff down even further. But as soon as I do, I'll put more videos out and keep you guys updated on my journey here. I've seen a lot of great informational videos on processing hemp on YouTube. I just haven't seen any done on a small scale. So I figured I would shoot these video series to show you how I'm doing this on a small scale with little to no equipment, and I might end up making some equipment especially for processing this stuff. So if you thought this was helpful, please hit that thumbs up button down below, and if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to us, and that way you can know when I come out with the new videos on further processing this down into fine material. So as always, guys, take care and spend time with that family.